All right, so last we left off when I was trying to operate a flatbed, I had the other Ferrari, and usually I forgot to update it. Somebody said in the comments or sent me a message that you didn't update what was wrong with the other Ferrari. I'll get into that now. We had the blown fuse, mega fuse. That was just the indication as to what was wrong. We traced it back to the relay. It wasn't the relay, although I got two of the relays. It turned out to be the F1 pump, which in Ferrari world is a pretty scary thing. And it's usually like it's one of those things that people are afraid of when they buy an F1 car, is the F1 pump going bad. And I'm happy to report it's not really a big deal. I feel bad that it happened just after I sold the car, but it just dems the brakes of Ferrari, I guess. What we ended up doing was just getting the initial, I don't know if this is the pump or motor. I think this is the pump and the other thing is the motor. This is the motor and that's the pump. And this one was on eBay for, I think the Ferrari was like 1,100 bucks. Labor wasn't too bad. It's pretty easy to get to. You just remove one of the trim panels and then you have to just bleed out the system. But the labor was like 200 bucks. This pump ended up costing $350. We got this, put it in, and the car backed out of the garage and then didn't work anymore. The motor, or whatever this thing was free spinning. It appeared to be working, but this may have been the underlying problem that caused that to burn out, and then subsequently down the line, all the way down to the big fuse, relay fuse motor. So we put that in, then the car ended up breaking shortly thereafter. What I did was I took it off my car to make sure that the F1 pump would work. And since I have a bunch of cars, I didn't care about keeping this thing parked here and getting his car back up and running. And then luckily on eBay, the guy also sold this separately. So for $400, we got the F1 pump with this thing. This is the, I don't know what this is. I'm no mechanical engineer. This is probably the pump, and this is like something with screws in it. But that here, when you put them all together, when you remove those screws and put these together, that sandwich is right in there. That is your F1 pump. It's pretty common. They go bad on Ferraris, and it's a dreaded fix, but it's actually not that bad. I think out the door probably came to about $700 or $800, including the fuses, and then searching around. We have this, which is the relay, which is actually, if you'll notice, it's in the Maserati box. And that's something that Ferrari does. They share parts among cars, because the reason he had that car over here is because I sold it to him and I fixed the fuel gauge that wouldn't read properly. And then he thought he smelled gas, and then shortly thereafter he got a check engine light and it turned out to be the evap system. What ended up happening was he just didn't put the gas cap on right, and it's for some reason a weird pressurized gas tank in the 360s. So much so I remember we actually had one that like imploded into like a raisin. I've never seen that before in any car ever, but we took care of that on 3 cars ago, 6 years ago. I never made a video about that. That probably would have been pretty interesting though. It was like the gas tank literally, like when you see them suck in, it did that, and that's really weird to me. Anyway, so he put the gas cap on wrong, and that's what triggered the light, because the system wasn't pressurized properly. And that wasn't a problem at all, thankfully, because I would have had to pay for that. Then we found out the F1 pump went bad. All good. Car was back up and running. On his way home, we got a check engine light, of course, because why not? Ferrari, it happens. Turned out to be the air pump, the secondary air pump, which when you turn on the car, you should hear, like it'll usually do it when you start the car. It's for the emission system, but through a check engine light. That, the dealer had it was like $600. My cost would have been like $500. And it turns out I found them on eBay. It's a shared part, goes back all the way to like the Maserati Gran Turismos and everything like that. 130 bucks. Out the door, threw another one in there. I told him he could drive it like that. Chose not to, because I don't blame him. He doesn't want to do anything bad to the car. But at the end of the day, if anything, the O2 sensor may go bad, and those go bad anyway. Anyway, that's the end of the story. He's welcome to Ferrari ownership, but it wasn't actually too bad. He's probably about $1,000 in the maintenance, and that should be clear for the next probably 5,000 or 10,000 miles, say 5,000 miles before he sees another check engine light. Anyway, there's your update on what was wrong with the Blue 360. Back up and running. The guy's enjoying it. A little trick as to when you need a part for a Ferrari, or any car for that matter, always look at other brands, other companies that make it, the supplier who makes it. You could save yourself a lot of trouble, because if you went to the dealership and fixed everything that he just fixed, I'm telling you, he's looking at $3,500, if not more, in parts and labor. Doing it through a third party and actually looking and using and referencing part numbers and everything like that, you could save yourself a bunch of money and headache. And it's much nicer to own a car that costs you $1,000 to fix when something significant goes wrong versus when it costs $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Thank you guys for watching. There is your update on the Blue 360. What was wrong with it? That story is done. The storyline, the flatbed, all of that's done. The Blue 360 is now gone. That will be the last video updating you about the Blue 360. Catch you next time. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe below. And if you haven't scored yourself a t-shirt or an entry for the BMW giveaway contest, make sure you do that. Links in the description. Have a good day. I'm going to blankly stare at the camera. Tell me when it gets awkward.